Thank you, Sophie. Hello, I'm Jennifer Jones with the headlines in Wales. At their party conference, Wales's first and only Reform Senedd member says they're not ruling out scrapping the Senedd.
We need to try and make the Senedd work for the people of Wales. But if it doesn't, we need to question whether the Senedd is really adding value to Wales.
Some policy headlines from Reform here in Birmingham and a glimpse of what Wales's political future might look like were they to run the Welsh Government.
Also in the programme tonight, with fewer secondary pupils eligible for free school transport, campaigners claim there's already more traffic and children are being put at risk.
We're day 3 into a new term now and no incidents yet. Close calls, or lots of close calls.
I have to work early in the mornings, so it's really awkward for me to get them to school on time.
82-year-old Mike has been trapped at home for the last 7 weeks because the lift at his flats are not working and he doesn't know when it'll be fixed. And rugby league legend Sir Billy Boston returns to his home city of Cardiff to see his statue upgraded to reflect his knighthood. Good evening, noswaith dda chi. Reform UK's only Senedd member has questioned whether the Senedd should exist. Laura Ann Jones joined the party after defecting from the Conservatives over the summer and used her speech at Reform's conference to suggest that nothing would be ruled out under a Reform-led Welsh government in the future. That's if the Senedd wasn't working for Wales. The party leader, Nigel Farage, said that next year's election in Wales was an essential building block for his party. Well, let's head to Birmingham and join our political editor, Gareth Lewis.
Well, Jen, this is a place oozing confidence. Reform starting to wonder about how potentially they might run governments both in Westminster and in Wales. It's still a little light on Welsh detail, but we do have that glimpse now of what the future might look like under a Reform-led Welsh government if they think that devolution isn't working out. Now, there's important context here because party leader Nigel Farage has previously come out in support of the Senedd and in support of devolution. He said it was time for everyone in Wales to accept it. That existence, that idea of the existence of the Senedd, though, has long been an argument in some parts on the right of the political spectrum in Wales. It has been a busy first day in Birmingham. It hasn't always looked like this for Reform. The interest and anticipation much more like a big UK Labour or Conservative bash. Their leader thinks he's in charge of a winning side, and that was reflected in his conference team talk. Reform think they could be on the verge of government right across the UK.
The next step is going to be even bigger. Scottish Parliament elections, Welsh Senedd elections, and indeed a by-election that will take place in Wales next month.
Later, their recent recruit from the Conservatives, the Senedd member Laura Ann Jones, attacked Labour and Plaid Cymru and unveiled a set of policy priorities, but not the full details or how much it would cost. Among them, a promise to scrap the 20 miles per hour law, a pledge to build an M4 relief road around Newport, more GP surgeries would be built, and there'd be an end to asylum seekers being housed in hotels. And then, a sting in the tail of the speech, she questioned whether the Senedd should actually exist.
Let me make this absolutely clear. We are against 36 more politicians in the Senedd. It's all about priorities, and Labour and Plaid are all wrong. We need to try and make the Senedd work for the people of Wales. But if it doesn't, we need to question whether the Senedd is really adding value to Wales.
When we spoke to her after her speech, she had this to say. So you're calling for a referendum on it then?
I'm not calling for a referendum. I'm just saying in the future we need to make it work for the people of Wales, and that is our focus ultimately. But we are not going to rule anything out.
OK, so when you say not ruling anything out, so it is an open question for you then as to whether the Senedd should be there?
In the future.
Reform still doesn't have a Welsh leader. They now have some policy headlines, but not the full details. They've got another headline tonight with their only current MS in a party trying to win next year's election, suggesting that the institution they're fighting to control might have to go. On that feature of the Senedd, by the way, ultimately it would be up to a UK government to decide whether to get rid of it. And remember, Reform really fighting hard to take control not just of the UK government in Westminster, but also the Welsh government in Cardiff Bay. They will get an early test of what has been favourable polling for them in Caerphilly in the by-election next month, as mentioned by Nigel Farage. Plaid Cymru have already named their candidate, Lindsay Whittle. Labour expected to do so this weekend, Reform and the Conservatives next week. Now, one criticism of Reform has been their lack of specific Welsh policy detail. We have at least got some of the headlines on that today, but there is that other headline too. If they end up running the government in Wales, if they deem that devolution is not working out for them as they see it in the future, then they are prepared to take drastic action.
OK, Gareth, thank you very much. That's our political editor there, Gareth Lewis. Well, campaigners in Rhondda say changes to school bus transport there are putting children's safety at risk. From this month, pupils who travel at least 3 miles to their secondary school or college qualify for free transport, but the previous threshold was 2 miles. Some parents say the change is also causing increased traffic. Well, the council says it's reviewing the effects of the revised system. Lucy Vladev has the details.
The school drop-off. For parents, it's often a test of manoeuvrability and timing. And for others, it's often a time to avoid if you don't want to get stuck in traffic. For those here at Aberdare Community School, the new term is also bringing changes to how many students are eligible for the school bus. Now only students 3 miles away are offered transport instead of anyone 2 miles away or more. Campaigners say that means more cars at the school gates and more crowded local transport.
With all the new Year 7 starting, I mean, some of them are tiny. You're not going to see them until it's too late, and it will happen. We're day 3 into a new term now, and no incidents yet. Close calls, though, lots of close calls.
We live at 2.5 miles away from the school. When we first started the campaign, me and my son walked it, and it took us an hour and 15 minutes. I have to work early in the mornings, so it's really awkward for me to get them to school on time.
At the moment, in secondary schools across Wales, the statutory minimum distance to get free transport is 3 miles. As you can see, that's what most council areas in Wales offer. That includes Monmouthshire, Rhondda and Bridgend, which followed suit this academic year. Caerphilly was consulting on changes, but this afternoon decided to keep offering free transport to students as close as 2 miles away, with Blaenau Gwent the only other place currently offering the same.
In Rhondda campaigner Tina Collins has now set up a petition against the changes with more than 10,000 signatures so far.
A lot of parents in this area have been noticed to bring them by car. There's only a bus every 1 hour in some areas. So if that bus is full, they can't get another bus for another hour later. Yeah, it is really difficult for parents, especially those who are living in poverty at the moment. It's not fair for a child to be struggling to get to an education.
In a statement, a spokesperson for Rhondda Council said that this is the first week of the revised home-to-school transport policy being operational and that they're reviewing the effects of the implementation, adding the changes agreed in 2024 were necessary for them to maintain affordability within future financial constraints. The students hoping to do their own sums, though, getting to the classrooms for some is proving an extra challenge this year.
Planning permission for an outdoor adventure centre in Pembrokeshire that's already under construction has been quashed by a High Court judge after wildlife campaigners challenged the decision. It's being built by a local company in the village of Moylgrove near Cabourg Bay. Campaigners argued it could lead to an increase in activities like coast steering and kayaking in a special area of conservation, which had the potential to disturb wildlife. Pembrokeshire Coast National Park Authority says it'll review the judgment. The company has been asked to comment. A young man from Cardiff has made a film about his experience of losing his hair at the age of 16. Judah Cousin hopes it will help to destigmatise male pattern baldness and highlight the impact it can have on mental health. He's been speaking to Ben Price.
One teenager's story of hair loss and the impact it can have on mental health and relationships with others. Judah from Cardiff plays a character based on his own experiences of going bald at the age of 16.
Anytime anyone would look at me, I would think, oh, they're looking at my hair. you know, they're looking, oh, you know, they can notice it. And it was really like, I was a prisoner to my own mind, really. It was completely and utterly exhausting.
Fearful it would expose his hair loss, Judah says he wouldn't go out on a windy day or he'd refuse to go swimming.
There was this one night where I was preparing for prom, the prom night, and I would always have this extensive routine to try and get my hair correct and hide all the hair loss. And I remember showering 3 times over trying to get the hair right, and I ended up being late to my prom because of that. And from that point onwards, I just realised how much of a toll it had taken on my life.
He now uses medication that can help to regenerate hair. He also wears a hair installation, a piece that attaches to the head. This salon has seen an increasing number of men of all ages coming to get hair installations as a result of male pattern baldness, a condition caused by genetics and hormones.
When it first started, the hair systems were completely different. They were a lot thicker. They took a lot longer to be made and all this. But now we've got like from 17, probably, is my youngest client, up to the age of 80.
After noticing his hair loss in the mirror on New Year's Eve, Luke from Blaenavon felt desperate to deal with it, and he opted for a hair system which is glued to the head.
People say that now when they see me, they think I'm more confident, more outgoing. I'm not as self-conscious, and it's kind of changed my life completely.
Hair systems are seen as a more affordable option. However, the hair transplant industry has boomed in the past decade, a procedure which can cost thousands of pounds, and it isn't permanent. Former professional rugby player Xavier Rush got a hair transplant when he retired from the game. He says he noticed men approaching him to ask about the procedure, so he decided to set up his own business.
We're kind of in an Instagram age. People are doing Zoom calls. The amount of people I've had ringing in with Zoom calls saying, oh my God, I see my head on the camera every day. Like, oh, I don't like it now. So I just, you know, it was a good time to open it. It's becoming there's less and less stigma around it.
At 19, Judah is still working out what is the best long-term solution for him. And he hopes his film can help other young men not to feel any shame, he says, about their hair loss and what they choose to do about it.
Ben Price reporting there. Now, a man from Penarth in the Vale of Glamorgan has been left feeling trapped in his home because the only lift in his building has been broken for 7 weeks. Mike Constable is a double-leg amputee and relies entirely on the lift to leave his second-floor flat. The management company has apologised for the disruption. David Grundy reports.
I've come to Penarth to meet an 82-year-old man called Mike Constable. He lives over here, so let's go meet him. He moved into this accommodation for older people to live a more independent life. Now, as you can see, the lift here is out of order, and that's a problem. We'll find out why now. Come on. Two flights of stairs. Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm fine. Good to see you.
Good to see you, right. Mike lost his legs in an industrial accident at the East Moors Steelworks in 1968 when he was just 24. But for the last 7 weeks, he and his wife Bridget have been trapped at home because the lift doesn't work.
I'm stuck in the flat, 2 floors up, and I can't go anywhere.
Mike, who has bladder cancer, almost missed an appointment because he couldn't get out of the building. This disruption because of the lift is jeopardising your cancer treatment.
Yes. Oh, yeah, because I can't go. If I fall, I'm going to go down there and crack my head. You're gone. That's it. So they've said no.
When the ambulance crews have to come and pick you up and physically carry you down the stairs, there's not much dignity in that, is there?
Well, for me, I'm terrified. I'm terrified because they only need one slip and it's the end of the sport.
First Port, the company which runs the building, says an issue was identified when it was carrying out maintenance work on the lift, and its inspectors will be back next week to try and fix it.
We're getting nowhere. They do not contact you. You try and make contact and say this is they just put the phone down on you.
He's hoping the work will be done next week, but in the meantime, he and the other residents are considering getting rid of First Port and setting up their own building management company.
David Grundy there. Still to come this evening. Rugby League legend Sir Billy Boston returns to his home city of Cardiff to see his statue upgraded to reflect his knighthood.
And a brighter, warmer start to the weekend, but it's not going to last. Rain returns on Sunday. A full forecast in a few minutes.
Now, a weekend of fundraising in honour of musician and campaigner Mike Peters is underway in his home village in Denbighshire. The lead singer of The Alarm died in April at the age of 66. He'd lived with blood cancer for 30 years. Well, today, fans joined Mike's friends and family for a hike in his memory. Matthew Richards reports from Dyserth.
Mike Peters clocked up plenty of mileage travelling around the world, playing to sell-out crowds as frontman of The Alarm. But even when he came home to North Wales, he kept moving, taking long walks around Denbighshire's hills. Fans are literally following in his footsteps as part of a charity hike, one of several in Dyserth across this weekend. Mike's widow Jules and the cancer charity he co-founded, Love, Hope, Strength, are holding their first major event since his death aged 66 in April.
Actually, when I look back, Mike was too unwell to join me the very first time we started Red Rocks. It's a celebration of community, friendship, music, bringing people together, trying to save lives, encouraging people to get onto the Bone Maradona list, and just appreciating each day, I think. You know, the beautiful waterfalls, the incredible scenery of North Wales. Every day's a good day as long as you can take a breath. Look at the incredible views that are surrounding us now. It's good for the soul, it's my religion. Whew!
The Red Rocks Solidarity Rock and Stroll event is described as a weekend of reflection, relaxation and revelry in and around the village pub owned and run by Jules and her sons. Fans have travelled from far and wide to sign up for hikes and beach walks around some of Mike's favourite places.
It's definitely a family. I mean, I have friends that I met, when I was 17, 18 at shows, and we're still friends. Yeah, to this day, and we all go to the shows, or whatever, and do stuff like this.
Along with Mike's son Evan, musician Matt Peach serenaded the walkers with Alarm songs.
I think I've got most of the songs in my head. I think it's what you learn when you're first learning guitar as a child. Those early songs. A lot of people, it's like Green Day or Guns N' Roses. Mine's The Alarm. So they're all in here, hopefully.
And of course, no rock star worth their salt is without a guest list. But this event has a list with a twist. Visitors are being encouraged to sign up to become potential stem cell donors in the hope that they can help people living with cancer and leukemia.
It's important to get matches, and I don't think that a lot of people realize how easy it is. I think people think it's a very complicated process, and it's not. It's a very easy way to make a difference in someone's life and save a life.
4 months ago, friends and colleagues gathered to pay emotional tributes to Mike at his funeral. But despite his death, the charity work and fundraising continues, and his family say the solidarity fans have shown in the months since has helped them to keep moving forward.
Matthew Richards there in Denbighshire. Right, let's get tonight's sport now. Here's Thomas.
Jen, thank you very much. We'll start at the Rugby World Cup, where Wales know whatever happens in their game against Fiji tomorrow, they're leaving the tournament at the pool stages. A disappointing competition has seen heavy defeats at the hands of Scotland and Canada. It means there's just pride to play for in Exeter. Well, Eleanor Rice is there for us tonight. Ellie, a tough campaign so far. What's the mood there tonight?
It's positive, to be honest with you, Thomas. You'd be forgiven for thinking that after 2 decisive defeats, the mood might have soured a little bit, but Sean Lynn's side are feeling good. They're focusing on what they've done well in their first 2 matches and how to move that forward into Saturday. They don't want to go home without a win, like you said. They're playing for pride. The only problem, Fiji feel the same.
Friday morning training for Fiji. They're Wales's opposition tomorrow here in Exeter, but today they focus on themselves. It's only their 2nd World Cup, and since their inception, Fijiana have played less than 50 test matches. They're still a team in their infancy, but they're here to fight. Emotions as their tournament draws to a close are high.
I know it's been a tough few weeks of training, trying to come every day in training, try to feeling, and yeah, we're really excited for this week. I know it's the last one, but we'll give our best, and we're going to finish on high.
When former Wales coach Ioan Cunningham took over the side in February, the setup was very different to what he'd been used to back at home.
When you're with Wales, yeah, I think you possibly lose sight of how lucky you are with the facilities they've got in the NC, in the Vale Glamorgan, plus the support staff around. So I left Wales and I've come to Fiji, and this, have we got a field to train on? Oh, don't know. You know, and then we're trying to find a field to train on that isn't a sort of a centre of excellence in Fiji.
Well, Ioan Cunningham's successor was, of course, Sean Lynn, who's led the side through this tournament. It's been a tough 2 weeks. Defeat first to Scotland, whose camp was marred by acrimonious contract negotiations, and then to Canada, who, despite being second in the world, are essentially an amateur setup. Still, there's one opportunity left tomorrow to go home with a win.
It looks like both teams are going to throw the kitchen sink at each other then. So I really do think it's going to be a brilliant battle this weekend, and I'm hoping we'll come up on top. But I've asked the girls to come off crawling.
I'm raring to go. I think it's one final opportunity now to go out there and perform, get a performance under our belts, and capitalise on opportunities.
It's a different kind of pressure this weekend. A win would mean breaking their longest ever winless streak at the World Cup. A loss extends it. Either outcome, for many, there are questions to be answered.
Well, the time for those questions comes after the whistle tomorrow. For now, Wales, who were just out here training behind me at Sandy Park about half an hour ago, the real test is against a very determined Fiji side tomorrow. You heard Sean Lynn there. He wants them to bring absolutely everything to the pitch. Fiji've never beaten a European team. This is a playoff for third, but it means a lot more than that to both sides. You can watch the action on BBC One Wales from 2:15 tomorrow and listen on Radio Wales from 2 o'clock. Thomas.
Ellie, thank you very much. This weekend, Geraint Thomas will prepare to bring the curtain down on a glittering career. After 2 decades in the saddle, the winner of the Tour de France in 2018 will retire from professional cycling at the end of the Tour of Britain, which concludes in his home city of Cardiff. Full coverage on our Sunday programme at 6 o'clock as one of the greats of modern cycling is celebrated. He is one of Rugby League's greatest players, and months after Billy Boston was knighted by the King, he returned to Cardiff for the unveiling of a new plaque recognising his latest honour. The 91-year-old was a trailblazer for black athletes when he left Cardiff to play for Wigan and Great Britain in the 1950s and 60s. So Billy is the first Rugby League player in the sport's 130-year history to be knighted. Back in his home city, Sir Billy Boston, a giant of the game. In the 1950s and 60s, no one stopped him. For Wigan, Billy scored tries, 478 of them. Having become the first Rugby League player to be knighted, this statue needed an upgrade. Good to meet you.
Thank you very much.
This is quite a day.
Thank you.
Sir William John Boston. It sounds good. KBE. Don't forget the KBE. Billy is 91. He lives with dementia. His pride shines.
We don't know how many more times we're going to get to do this with him, so it's a big honour for us. It's come later on in life. It could have been 20 years ago. It should have been 20 years ago. For the first rugby league player ever to get a knighthood, no, it's took so long. It's scandalous, really.
What's he like when he talks about Cardiff and coming back home?
Oh, everything's glorious in Cardiff, apparently. You know, he comes back to when he was younger. Obviously, the dementia takes you back to when you were younger. He remembers everything. When we come down, that's all he talks about is Tiger Bear, Bute Street, Shirley Bassey as well. He always talks about her.
Billy was brought up a stone's throw from here, in multiracial Tiger Bay. He wanted to play rugby union for Wales. Black players in those days were not selected. Rugby league became his life.
If you mention Billy Boston up the north of England, he is rugby league. He had it all, Billy. He had the sidestep, He could bump him off with his hip, and he had tremendous pace, for a burly big man. And, to tackle him when he got in full throttle, you took a brave man to jump in front of him.
After meeting the King at Buckingham Palace, his new status has now been recognised, where it all began.
Well, the sun was shining for Sir Billy today. Let's get a full check on the weather forecast for the weekend. And Sue is with us tonight. Hiya.
Thomas, thanks very much. Well, after some heavy rain this week, some drier weather into the weekend. Feeling warmer, brighter on Saturday with sunny spells before rain returns on Sunday. It's all thanks to high pressure, a ridge building northwards, bringing fine settled weather, and also more southerly winds drawing up milder air. So tonight then, still 1 or 2 showers further west, otherwise with clearing skies and lighter winds. We could see a few mist and fog patches forming, chillier than recent nights at 9 to 12 Celsius. Tomorrow then, a fresh start, breezy conditions, the odd light shower, but staying dry for most with sunny spells, hazy at times, thicker cloud developing to the west later, and the wind will pick up through the day. A warmer southeasterly wind though, with highs between 19 Celsius in parts of Powys and 22 in Wrexham and Cardiff. Worth making the most of the dry weather tomorrow. We'll start to see changes overnight into Sunday. This low pressure system will push in from the Atlantic, bringing some rain. Also the tightly packed isobars signalling stronger winds too. Late evening sunshine tomorrow, but clouds thickening overnight as that cold front edges closer, with showers starting to push in. A mild night, lows of 14 to 17 Celsius. Blustery on Sunday then, showers and longer spells of rain pushing up from the southwest. Heavy, potentially thundery at times as they move northeastwards. Brighter spells in between, but winds really pick up on Sunday, gusting over 40 miles per hour along Cardigan Bay. Warm southerly winds though, so staying on the mild side at 18 to 21 Celsius. It's just a brief, brighter, warm spell low to start the weekend, and then a change to more unsettled weather into next week. Changeable conditions with rain at times, and then temperatures dropping back down again in the mid-teens, back near the seasonal average for most of Wales later next week. And the long-range outlook for September is also quite changeable. Jen.
Sue, thank you very much. And that's all from the Wales Today team for now. We'll be back at around 10:30 tonight. But until then, from all of us on the programme, have a good Friday evening. Bye-bye.